Okay. Okay, welcome to our Buckminster Fuller study group for the weekend of June 6th and 7th, depending on where you are. We haven't heard from Richard or Joe yet, but we'll see what's going on. We're ready to start our meeting after a combustible Wednesday. So anyway, so Lee, how are you feeling, Lee? And what shape are you in, and what expectations do you have for tonight?
I'm a happy girl. My birthday was wonderful. Got to soak in the hot tub of the Lava Hot Springs in Idaho. And it was a beautiful trip. I told Steve the trip was wonderful. If we just turned around right now, I would be happy with just the views that I was seeing. It was gorgeous. So much empty land for farming, lots of farm, hay fields everywhere. And it was nice. Now, Richard,
You have a shape.
I, I, I'm just wonderful. My shape is wonderful. And what I would like to get out of today is find out what book has been chosen. I haven't looked at any of the books. I'm going to just take whatever you guys like and study it with you. Now, Richard, I'm needing to find out if you're in a blizzard or did you have snow today?
No
And
snow.
no snow. Oh, well, how are you feeling?
This is almost what is it? It is D-Day.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not S-Day, snow day. It's D-Day. Uh, Delightful day. Uh, well, I'm feeling pretty good. I just had a really interesting guest speaker at our Trim Tab group this morning, um, talking about climate change, planetary care, um, using the ocean to help recreate kelp and so forth. Um, Working in the Philippines, working in Australia, um, originally from the US. And so I'm really going to put a test to Bohemian dialogue and out of what I heard this morning about a book called Stellar. Um, Sounds very intriguing how to, in a distributive way out into the edges, recreate regenerative sort of programs and projects and combine a greater use of civil society involvement in global affairs as well as local affairs. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm getting closer and closer to having confirmation of the new director from the Perry Center in Italy to be a guest speaker, keynote speaker at the University of Calgary in September. Um, I'm having a meeting with several people next Friday, so hopefully that'll kind of confirm everything. So things are looking pretty good right now. Who hasn't gone? Anne?
Fred and myself, yeah. Oh, yeah. Shake. I'm still water today, the flow of water, because the image that was sent in our chat group has actually impacted strongly for me, and to be able to see I mean, that's not the normal flow of water, right? You're talking about the shape now of water, and being able to shape it, sounds and everything. And so it's like completely, it's natural and yet it's generated, so it's like completely, not baffles me, but completely amazes me. It's just amazing. Yeah. And so I'm looking forward, yes, to we haven't completed the full explanation yet, right?
You muted, Steve.
We did
Yeah.
completed everything but Appendix C, which just talked about characteristics of a tetrahedron, which I found fun to read. But we completed the book, I think. We didn't do the other appendices that had math either. We avoided the trigonometry.
Okay. All right. Then it looks like I'll catch up with the ending later on then. Okay. So yeah, looking forward then for the next book. And Fred, what shape are you in, and how do you feel, and what would you like to take away today?
Thank you, Anne. I'm still in the shape of Southern
Oh, burger.
China Air. I forgot the name of the airline. Economy seat because I was cramped for 5 hours yesterday. And I'm just starting to unfold. I got my suitcase delivered this morning because for some reason it did not follow in layover in Guangzhou. But everything starts to go back to normal. I'm back home. I'm on my big screen, so it's a lot easier uh, to see you guys. And I've never been to Idaho. This is one of the few US states I've not visited. Idaho, Montana, I've not visited. A few others up north, a few others down south. And I don't know what we're going to do today. I'm not even sure we have a book to read today. So let's figure that out. And back to you, Steve. Thank you. How are you feeling? What shape are you in? And what is your desired takeaway?
I'm in the shape of a very sleek amoeba, kind of like a flying wing, maybe, but more rounded everywhere. Anyway, and I feel pretty good. I feel um, relaxed. I had a big project that I've been working on for the last 3 years. I was doing pro bono. I was doing a consultation with somebody who was actually kind of mentally disabled. She has aphasia and can't do some issues. But so I was helping prepare a complaint uh, for her submitted to a contractor. It has taken me way too long. She had somebody helping her on her end, and as long as that was there, we were communicating very well because I could talk to her and then she could talk to her other person and come to something. But the other person went away. Suddenly, the other person reappeared after a year and a half. And so, wham, it's a big commotion. I sent out 9 emails today with different documents in it saying, here, this is the status of the project. Go ahead and turn it in. And I'm very excited. Just that is relieving to me. I have a couple other things going on, but that's it. As far as our book goes, I think that we've come down to we can have that discussion tonight. That'll be our agenda tonight. We could actually do Appendix C on tetrahedron if we finish our thing on discussions. I think that would be really helpful just to review on the characteristic of a tetrahedron. But it'd be nice to follow up with our explosive Wednesday meeting and decide what it is we are going to do for this. I think the two books that are standing are we've actually chosen Programming the Universe as the book, and then when Looking Glass Universe got thrown out on Wednesday, that kind of book is floating around up in the air. And so we can discuss that. And as a starter offer, I'm just going to say that I'm not sure how available Looking Glass Universe is. And I'd like to talk about how to get a copy of that in any regard. And I purchased a copy of Programming the Universe but it won't be here until this coming week. So I can't read it to you. I could open a Kindle probably pretty fast if I wanted to spend the $18 on programming the universe. I've been looking for a PDF. I'd like to talk about the availability of programming the universe and of Looking Glass Universe, but my thought is that I was a little bit too greedy on getting all day to the fact that Richard's making that connection, and I was a little bit too optimistic and too greedy about uh, getting about having him come on our call. And yet that may be a possibility somehow. And I'm happy. Susan said talking something about joining the Perry Center. I'm interested in that too, to some degree. So we're kind of open for things. One, what do we want to do with Looking Glass Universe and programming the universe? Do we want to have a discussion about changing books, or are we happy with programming the universe? Where are we there? What are your guys' feelings on it?
Let's have a Bohemian discussion about it.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you what, I've had some epiphanies on this Bohemian discussion thing, and I'm not sure that it's really good for solving problems. Bohemian dialogue is good for discovering the process of thinking and discussing meaning. And so, that's cool. And it's different than democratic dialogue or even Socratic dialogue, because I've read another article. But I'll pursue Bohemian dialogue with you. Let's say hello to Manu. Manu, we've all had our invitations. We were just talking about what we're going to be talking about. We're talking about programming the universe and Looking Glass Universe, what their status is, what we're going to choose, and just have a general discussion about that. And then if there's time left over, we're going to go to Appendix C in fuller explanation and finish off our meeting, if we have extra time, with the characteristics of a tetrahedron. So we're going to be discussing all that today. So Manu, how are you feeling, and what do you anticipate for today's call?
Sorry, first. Just woke up now. I feel good. I think that we must choose early and just close on this thing today and finish everything and ride a new horse. That's the way I feel, and that's what I expect. So back to you, Steve.
Cool. All righty. So we were just discussing the book, Programming the Universe, its availability, and Looking Glass Universe and its availability. And I was just admitting that I was probably very enthusiastic about Looking Glass Universe because I wanted all day to participate with us. So I'm just open for this Bohemian discussion. Let's discover a thought and meaning. And I'm complete so far.
Well, I'd like
Okay.
just to chime in here in terms of the Bohemian or the Looking Glass Universe, and kind of tacking on to what we talked about on the Wednesday session, and also the fact that I think it was Fred, or maybe you too, Stephen, made some inquiries about how to access the book, which turns out not to be easy. um, and partly because I'm in the process of trying to finalize something with the Perry Center and All Day. I'm quite happy to leave that book floating in the air for maybe the next one or at some point. I think it would be still quite possible that once we start talking with All Day and get this other event sort of sorted out, that he may well be interested in joining us as a visitor at some point. He doesn't have to do it while he's here in Calgary. he could do it from his home base, and I believe he lives in England. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Um, quite willing to have it remain sort of in the cloud, floating around, waiting to come to Earth if and when we ever
And I
want to
want
look
to
at
add
it.
one more thing to the conversation. Richard, did you, and I'm sure you haven't, and no pressure, my friend, but the other potential is those seminars that are available in conjunction with that.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any more information on those?
No, I don't have that yet. I've run into some other sort of entanglements this week, um, but the other thing that I think I might be able to at least ask them about as to whether or not a copy of the book in some form might be available for our reading book sessions whenever we make the decision that that book is something we'd want to look at.
Cool. Lee, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I have been very interested in the looking glass and all that you have talked about. It sounds very, very interesting. And having one of the authors available possibly for us to speak with is something that I don't ever want to pass up. That is, I think, imperative for us to check it out even further and maybe try to get it, find out how we can get it through Holiday. All Day, is that his name? Not Holiday, but All Day. Check with him how we can get it. Who knows? We might be able to just get it from England. I'm through.
Anybody? Any?
Any other Bohemian input? Anne, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're right in that in case, it could take us a while and we might end up running around trying to get the book, and to give it a bit of time for us to to get it right. And so I'm very open actually to programming the universe, yeah, because it started off with how we talked about cosmic integrity, and I really, really would like to see the universe work in a manner that is on the what you call the generalized principles, right? So there are quite a number of things that we haven't worked out here, but it's out there in the universe, like this perpetual motion thing. Where's the energy coming from? And the fact that the integrity is solid, that it's been there for billions of years, yeah. And because of quite a number of times that we started talking at the level of cosmic integrity from that what do you call that table, that list that Bucky set up, from cosmic integrity to
We call it
synergy.
it's called the cosmic hierarchy. I think something
Okay.
like hierarchy. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, there you
I'll
go,
pull it
cosmic
up right now.
hierarchy. Yeah, because quite a lot of times when we went down those paths, that quite a number of things has actually jumped out in a manner that then we can say, oh my God, that really is what it should be doing here, on Earth, right? I mean, on the ground, locally. Okay, right now I'm using the terms, right? From macro to micro, and then from the universe to what is local, right? So those things have actually impacted, and then to the point where even the when it came to, like, I would love to read the what's that, the regenerative economics, but then because of where we went down the path of this cosmic hierarchy, that now we know that we need to come from a space where we work with generalized principles, with nature rather than against it, and we're about the only those things are really, really powerful for me. And I have a feeling we might be able to get that from for me, that's how I feel. I think the two books we've chosen, like I said, but bear in mind, Steve, whatever you've done really, really opened the door for us to look at this looking glass, and I'm really excited to maybe have that for the book after that. Yeah. So this is where this is my preference, but it's more the discussions we've had that's actually gotten me to this to this the opinion. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's where I'm at.
Well,
Passing it on.
how available, Fred, is, were you able to find a PDF file of that book? I've got it in Kindle and I've got it a used book for $5, $6, I think. I just bought the used book.
What book?
Programming the Universe. Is it available?
Programming the Universe is available. What's not available yet in e-format is Looking Glass. It's only available in paperback.
Okay, good. It would be possible I could scan those pages so we'd have something to read, and I can buy a Kindle book for $15. And Kindle,
Does
It's not on Kindle.
it's on Kindle, yeah.
It is there? It
Yeah.
was not what I looked last week. Okay. Well, if it's on,
I looked at it this week. Let me see.
okay, I don't use Kindle, but maybe out of a Kindle format we can extract a PDF format. I don't know.
Yeah, I found it right
Okay,
here.
so if availability is not a problem, then it's not a problem. The main point for me is that programming the universe is fundamental, and the other one is interpretative. That's the reason why I believe it's better to do the fundamental first, then the interpretation.
Cool.
question.
Other than that, it really doesn't matter at this stage. I'm happy with both, and it's all okay. If it's available, it's really solved the last hiccup.
Can I check if I don't have a Kindle, how do I get the PDF? Because there are a number of platforms, and I'm not so big on buying things online. So sometimes we in Malaysia we have horror stories of you clicking into something and you can literally give away your whatever money that's in your accounts.
The way to do, if it's on Kindle, wait another 2 weeks. It's going to be available for free on PDF.
Well, it's on Kindle right now. Let me show you.
Because somebody will convert it and put it online, so it will be available, and then we can always purchase it directly from the author's website, so it's not really stealing it.
Yeah, I would love to. I can purchase. Okay, so which platforms do you go to get the PDF? And we don't have to discuss it here. If you can send me the safe ones, purchase or.
When I get my hand on the PDF, I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Do you think there's any chance of doing that in the next couple of days, Fred, or you think it's going to take more time than that?
Well, it depends whether it's available or not on those piracy sites that are making books available for free to everybody. So if it's on Kindle, it's going to be on PDF, because people just take the Kindle, convert it to PDF, and then post it online. That's what's going on. Other than that, maybe we could ask, I don't know if the timing is correct, we could ask the author if he is willing to make a PDF copy available for us against payment.
Who would do that, Fred?
You mean programming the universe, or you mean the other
Who
one?
wants to talk to Seth Lloyd and see
So
if
programming the universe, I have the PDF already, so I can send it.
Well, then there we go. I think that's the easy access. And I'm with you. I think programming is fundamental. It's kind of technical. I want Manu's feedback there because knows math and geometry and engineering stuff, and that would be kind of interesting.
Yes.
I've already said it's like Stephen Wolfram's into this kind of like quantum calculating, and
Yes.
anything I'd learned there would be really in this program, the universe would be really powerful in terms of fundamental awareness of information theory and how it affects our new views of universe.
When you receive your copy, your hard copy you purchase that you're going to receive this week, you need to let me know how many pages,
Okay.
number of chapters, because I've got two PDFs that I sourced, but one is 150 pages, the other one is 200 pages, so I'm not sure it's exactly the same content. Sometimes it's difficult to find the entirety, but if you send me the things, I can sort it out quite easy. And if it's not
I
correct,
will.
I can find
I'm
it
glad to
elsewhere.
do that. Yeah. And
The
I could scan
the
them.
main issue now is that if we want a PDF or an e-copy of the Looking Glass, as it's not available, or as I could not find it, and it's not available online yet. Then maybe if Richard could contact the author, if it's appropriate at this time, then we could maybe get a PDF copy. Um,
It was available on the website with Paris Center, but it was available only in pounds and in euros, no dollars.
No, the e-copy is not available, is it?
It's what?
The 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 electronic version. It's only printed at this moment. Last
Yeah,
week was only printed.
yeah, I think so. I think
Printed. The issue for printed is that for Anne and all that, we need to wait until Amazon decides that it's worth shipping it to China and to Malaysia and all these things. It's going to take
right.
time.
Yeah. So I'm all for doing programming the universe and letting Looking Glass. I'm going to stay close to Richard. Maybe attend more of the meetings that you can. Maybe you can get me invites to those meetings, Richards. Maybe you can't. Maybe I'm going to be available. Maybe I won't. But I think we can stay really close to Looking Glass. And at any time, if it looked like that all day is going to be available, could possibly be available for Richard in September. And maybe we can possibly get those video recordings. There are 6 recordings of about an hour each on various topics relating to Looking Glass. If we were to listen to those and then have all day come on, we could break whatever we're doing in any other book, spend 6 weeks and go through those other things, and then have Dr. Alday come on the line if you'd like to do so. So it'd be very speculative that that would even happen. It'd be an 8-week break in the middle. And even if it didn't happen, I'm very satisfied with Programming the Universe. And especially Programming the Universe is available in a PDF. So I'll get the book. Let me see, make sure I'm going to get the book probably on the 10th or 11th, which is like Wednesday or Thursday. And I'll immediately take a picture of the table of contents with page numbers, the first and the last page, and zip it to you, Fred. So you'll know which PDF.
Yeah. So I can make sure the documents I have are complete, and then we can distribute them.
All right.
Okay,
And
quick one. It looks like I can get these 2 books, Looking Glass and what's the other one? Programming the Universe, right? So, but the other one I may not be able to get is actually the Living Energies. If somebody can point me for the PDF.
I have the PDF for Living Energy.
Okay, that would be great. Okay.
well,
Thank you.
send me the PDF too, so that I can use that.
I can send it to everybody, but if the FBI comes knocking, I'm not responsible.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
have
Because yes, I Living Energies, I couldn't find it here anywhere.
Okay.
So
I'll send it.
thanks.
I'll send it to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. That'll go out to Susan and to Wayne then, right?
Everybody.
Good. Because I'm not angry at Wayne. That's good. All right, so I think we have a consensus. Is there any more dialogue? Because it looks like we're pointing to Programming the Universe to start reading, and then as things develops, we can we can see what else can develop from there. Is that good with everybody? All right, good. And we'll have a PDF in our hands by next Saturday, by the next weekend, because I'll have my copy on the 10th or 11th. I'll shoot my information to Fred, then he can send out the PDF file that's most compatible with the hard copy book.
Maybe the easiest is I sent you the 2 files I have, and you
Oh,
can
okay.
you compare that and you choose the one which
Yeah.
cover the whole book. Yeah,
That sounds good to me. All
yeah,
right,
I'll do
good.
it.
So
I
by
won't send this. I won't send this to everyone because it's going to be
okay.
confusing. But
Right.
yeah,
So you're going to send Living Waters to everybody, and you're going to send
I'm
Programming
going to send
Universe to me.
Living Energies. I don't
Living
know about
Energies, I
Living
mean, yeah,
Waters. Yes.
to all, and then Programming to me, and then I will send out the one that's most compatible. So by next weekend, we'll be in good shape. Richard, more flow.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking up the Looking Glass, and I just see a posting here from something called the Hive that it's available for 15 pounds. So I may look into that too. That's interesting.
Where does it ship from?
Well, probably from the UK. Um,
It's on Amazon also. I saw it on Amazon.
oh,
I
did you
believe.
see that? Yeah. Okay.
I believe. I think I remember that. No guarantees, but I believe so.
I'll check it out some more too.
In the PDF file that I sent out last week or so, 2 weeks ago, there was actually a link in that PDF file to the book. It was right here in the deal. If you hit that link, that takes you out to, should take you out to the website, Perry Publishing. And there it is. And there's the price in euros and price in pounds. And you can buy it for money. And but it doesn't say where it's going to be shipped now. And buy now kind of scares me because buy now sounds like they have my credit card already. Yeah, 21 euros. They want my PayPal or my debit card, but it doesn't tell me where it ships from. So this is not as handy a website as eBay. And you know what? I didn't even look on eBay for let me just look on eBay and see if there's I'm sure Looking Glass is not going to be there. I mean, I'm sure yeah, Looking Glass Universe is not going to be there because it's too new. There's Programming the Universe on eBay for $5. That's where I bought mine. And I'm Looking Glass Universe. There's the old one. Yeah, it's the old ones. The old ones are there for $8. Here's a guy. There's always a guy out there holding out for big bucks on all these books in case all the other ones go. Because I buy a lot of stuff on eBay.
Yeah, even the old one was not available on PDF. I think the author maybe scanning the web to remove all illegal copies.
Okay. So we're good on Looking
But
Glass.
Living
What?
Energies is available where? On Amazon? I
Yeah,
cannot find it on Amazon.
No, it's available on my hard drive on PDF.
yeah, it's available on
Okay.
Fred's hard drive, but it's also
But I'm
available.
talking about the book, the
Yeah.
paperback.
Do you get any oh, oh wow, I must have bought the last one. I must have bought the last one on eBay.
You bought which one you bought?
I bought Living Energies on eBay. This is the guy I bought. I think I bought it on eBay. Prime Deals. Yeah, I think I bought it I saw it on Amazon Prime. And it's not on eBay, Amazon. Who is it? Coates. Yeah, see, $40. They're going to goose you for it. $52. These are now collector's items. I was really lucky. I bought one for $6. But I bought the last one, I guess. These are all very expensive. And not to worry, Fred has a PDF file, and everybody will get a copy of this book by next week. Okay. And Richard, I won't bring it up again because I know you're a conscientious dude. As soon as you get I may text you or something, but as soon as you get information on the Looking Glass webinars they did, on those 6 promotional webinars, hopefully you'll let us know as soon as you're aware of that. Okay, I'm pretty complete, and if you want to, we can go to Appendix C. Any more Bohmian dialogue? I'm ready to go to Appendix C and read Appendix C if everybody's there. Or if there's another idea. Let's be very, very Bohmian about it.
So let's
we might want to check.
Go ahead.
As
Go
I
ahead,
say,
Richard.
there was this book called Stellar that was talked about with quite a lot of excitement at the session this morning. So somebody might want to look that up and see whether we want to put it on our list at some point. Or
Do you have an author for that book?
yeah, I just did. It's yep.
The movie Interstellar was fantastic. Stellar Pretzels, Richard.
Yeah. Well, I just typed in Stellar book and I got what I was looking for. Yeah, here it is.
A World Beyond Limits.
Yeah, the authors are James R. Bibb.
Yeah.
And there's another one.
Yeah. It's a
Tony Seba.
Yeah. There he is on screen. I think you can all see that.
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, I can put it on a list of future things. I think there were like 30 different books suggested by AI. I will put this in the chat, and that way we'll have a record of it, and it's there. Any other feedback, comments, questions, flow? Going once? Is it okay to have like an auctioneer ending on the Bohmian dialogue, Richard? Going once, going twice, 3 times, gone. No more Bohmian dialogue. Oh, sometimes I'm so much fun. Okay, so with everybody going for it, let's review. Go ahead, Fred.
How are we dealing with Wayne telling us that we should not do this next week? Never mind.
I'll edit that out of the video, Fred. Actually, I can't. I could possibly, but I don't want to screw
I
it
don't think he's watching anyway.
Yeah, he isn't going to watch. But that's comment. No, Wayne was in his oats, feeling his oats on Wednesday, and I was feeling mine. So there you go. 2 oat kickers start kicking oats. Okay, I'm ready to go to Appendix C of this book.
Are we on? I don't see any sign on my computer showing that we are being recorded.
Well, there is one at the very top. It's a red dot saying recording and it's flashing up there.
Huh? You don't have it.
Recording is on.
I see it.
I see what's going on. Here we go. And you're offline. Did you need to see more on the cosmological hierarchy from Bucky? Did you need to see more on that before we went? Because I did find, go ahead. It's weird because I had a whole bunch of different versions. And all I'm finding are the 18 me's. I have this introductory thing, but we could certainly open up synergetics. I think that's where we got it from. And we could take a look at it and must be engaged. So I will share the book, which is here. There are the 18 me's. And then here's fuller explanation, Appendix C. This is on page 311. Whoops, what just happened? It's what? What, Lee?
278.
No. It's on page 312. And somehow I hit a button and got rid of it. Here we go. We're getting close now. That's the last chapter. There we go. Appendices. There's the trigonometry, chord factors, volume calculations, and the geometry. And here we go, Appendix C. If everybody's reminded of this, we'll go ahead and read through it and then and see what we can glean. I can start reading this. It's not very long. Appendix C, special properties of the tetrahedron. Minimum system, the tetrahedron is the first case of insideness and outsideness. Now that's interesting to me because I get the minimum system and I'm not sure what the system has to do with insideness and outsideness other than I guess that's what you have when you have a system. You have stuff that's in the system and you have stuff that's outside the system. And so that's where the inness and out comes from.
That's correct.
Right.
One of the characteristics of a system is that it has a boundary.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a boundary, you define inside and outside.
And this is where Richard made a major contribution to me, just with his insight many years ago about the tetrahedron and trying to find out what is the minimum number in a system. And to find the definitive answer from Buckminster Fuller was a profound epiphany for Richard. If I don't have your mouth.
In the synergetics dictionary, there's as many cards as numbers for a system. It depends on the context.
Right.
The number of elements that makes a minimum system is not very clear. It depends on the context in the synergetics dictionary.
But
I have
Really?
sorry.
special property of a tetrahedron, it is a minimum system. So there we go. What are you going to say, Manu?
Can I contribute? I'm not saying that it's universal. I say the minimum system is the triangle.
Yeah, can I just cut in there a little bit too? Just hang on, please. Because we're talking, there's two things here. One is the minimum system, which you're saying is a triangle, and the other is the minimum whole system. So just to keep those two things in mind in terms of when we're talking about the minimum or whatever. Thank you.
Okay. The minimum system is a triangle. The minimum structure is a tetrahedron.
Minimum whole system.
Yes, the minimum structure. A whole system is a structure. Because a structure the definition of a structure is that it can contain energy. A triangle cannot contain energy. A triangle can only transmit energy. So you will say action, reaction, resultant is a system.
Right.
But you say then action, reaction, resultant, and feedback is the structure. Because
you got
then
four?
you can. Yes, it's four.
Yeah. Okay.
Action, reaction, resultant, and feedback. It loops back, then it allows you to have a pattern. Because when it's feedback, it can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number of times that you want, and it will define a pattern.
So you're
Yes?
you're basically saying a minimum whole system and a minimum structure are the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
You always have feedback. That is the equivalent to there is always feedback. The equivalent is there is no triangle. You always have four components in your system. If you have a triangle, it's because someone omitted omitted the feedback. I think this is the reason why Kelly always insisted, at least for himself, that he did not create triangular words. He created tetra words. He always had four words in order to define a concept, to define something.
Say that again.
So I
Fred.
believe there's no such thing as a triangle as a system.
Who had four words?
Kelly always built tetrahedrons. Yeah. And somehow I think this is much more important than we tend to think and all that. I'm done.
And it seems to me that was Richard's insight because he was looking for a
Yes,
minimum
yes.
organization, right? Richard,
Yes.
why don't you tell that story? You've told it before, but it's an important story.
Well,
Manu?
the main thing for me was when I was first introduced to general systems in the 60s at the university, and everybody was saying general systems, that's the wave of the future and so forth. And the definition at the time that I recall was a system is a set of interacting parts. And so after a while, I started to ask the question, well, how many parts does it take to make a system? And that's when I couldn't get an answer. Some people said, well, minimum 2. Some people said as many as you want, and so forth. And it wasn't until I got Fuller's first synergetics book in the 1970s, 1975, because I got it from a book review club. And so I got it pretty much right off the publication press. And when I looked up tetrahedron or a system in that book, Fuller was very clear. He said it's a minimum of 4. And so at that point, it was like, I don't care whether he's right or wrong. He has a definitive answer. And then when I was working in my social work domain, we worked with triangles to a large extent. And so I asked myself, if Fuller's right, then what's the fourth thing in our work? And what we had was a person, the person's personal others in Fuller's language, the intimates and close friends and whatnot, and resource others or societal others, less personal. So I was working with those three concepts, and when I started to challenge or raise the question of what might be the fourth, the answer came to me. I won't go into that story, but the answer came to me was validators, the values, beliefs, things that govern us. And when you plugged in the validators into the triangle, you created the four, and then you created a connection to all three of the others. So um, the they're all governed by a validator system of some kind. And if they're compatible, then the system works very efficiently or smoothly or dynamically. If there's conflicts in the value systems that affect the relationship between one or more of the other systems, then there can be trouble and danger. So that's how I really came to really accept the idea of four as the minimum, um, and uh, and then worked with the tetrahedron to create some other models and structures so that applied to my field.
Very cool. Any other comments? Manu, you have your hand up.
Well, okay. Let's make a very simple experiment. Bear with me. I'm sitting here on my desk. Somebody comes from my window. My window indicated, my hand is showing where my window is, and passes me, passes my field of vision, and goes. Does it have any meaning to me other than a translation? Somebody went from my window to my door. That topologically is the triangle. Come in, out. Come in, pass out. Now, I'm still here. The person goes. That same person goes around, does something, and come get in again and passes. It's two. He's created another relationship that loops. And that means that the looping that I have contains some form of energy. The person passing me, there was no form of anything or information, if you want. It just passed. And if I kept that information and it never passed again, it wouldn't mean anything to me. So the act of the person coming back and looping, that is the curvature of space, creates a boundary that contain information that can be valid for a certain time. And that is the attribute of a structure. A system lets pass information. A structure is a particular system that holds information and can let it pass through. That is also the difference between a diode and a transistor, for example. A diode is just a gate, open, energy passes, closes. A transistor contains energy, is a receiver, as a receiver, and can bias that energy one way or the other for a meaningful purpose. I'm through with that. That's why I say a structure is a system of four minimum. And a triangle is a system, but it's not a structure. It's part of a structure, but it's not a structure. Okay.
There's one good reason Kelly hated the word system. He never used it. He used process. He stayed away from system. I shared one of the cards on system from the Buckminster Fuller Synergetics Dictionary.
Exact.
So I'm going to read it. Can you see? Can you all see it?
Yeah,
Yep.
please read it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. A system divides all the universe into three parts. All the universe outside the system, all the universe inside the system, and the remaining aggregate of the universe whose members altogether constitute the polyhedronal system, which definitely separates all the insideness of universe from all the outsideness of universe.
Exact.
It takes a minimum of 4 points, not lying in the same plane, to produce insideness and outsideness. 4 points not in the same plane inherently describe a tetrahedron, regular or irregular. And there's probably 200 cards about systems. Some say you need 27 or 32 or whatever elements to constitute a system. So it really, Bucky really drills down into
Yes.
an infinity of distinctions and special cases in order for us to understand what exactly he means by system. Maybe the next book should be the Buckminster Fuller Dictionary. There's only 27,000 cards to read.
Who wrote the Buckminster Fuller Dictionary?
Applewhite.
Bucky wrote it. And Amy, I think at some moment was involved into putting it together, typing it and putting it together. Amy and Munson. I may be wrong on that.
Applewhite was the main person.
Yeah. But it's clear there that it's clear what a system is. A triangle is not a system.
I put the copy of the card in chat. You can download it if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I've also
You get it by just clicking on it.
Yeah. And that was why I say I say for me, from my understanding, a triangle is a minimum system and a tetrahedron is a minimum structure. That was, it's a bias of an engineer, but that was how I made the rule to understand it.
well,
yeah, you did that, but when you read that card, it's not as clear or as explicit as what you're trying to say.
No, it is.
No, it isn't.
It is because
it
it
has
said
to do
minimum 4 points.
yeah,
Not on the plane.
No, but look, the word that it's defining is system, period.
No, what he defined as system, Claire, he said that it is something that separates the universe between insideness and outsideness.
right.
And the triangle doesn't.
Yeah, we have.
I call that a structure, a polyhedral structure.
Okay.
That's the way I call it, to make it clear to me.
I've had my hand up for a while here and been waiting.
Okay, good. Sorry to violate your rights. Okay.
So this is what the AI says. Buckminster Fuller defined a system as an entity that divides the universe into the inside and outside. That seems to be consensual here. And the system itself. Because it requires a minimum of 4 non-coplanar points to enclose the space. The 4-faced, 4-corner tetrahedron is Fuller's minimum physical system. This is what Fred was referring. He said that there are all these different definitions of system, but Bucky drilled down to like the smallest fractal. In Fuller's psychology, a triangle is a fundamental 2-dimensional polygon and the only inherent stable structural shape. The distinctions he made between the two include no volume. A triangle has length, width, but no depth, meaning it cannot enclose a space. As Fuller often noted, 3 points in a plane make a triangle with nothing in the middle. The building block of structure, because they cannot deform without stretching or compressing their edges, Triangles are the only stable polygon. Triangles provide the structural strength for all of Fuller's tensegrity designs and geodesic domes, faces of a system. A tetrahedron is inherently made up of 4 interlocking triangles. Therefore, while the triangle is flat, structural unit of measurement, the tetrahedron is the minimum system capable of enclosing reality. Then it gives some alternatives here, and I'm going to paste this into the chat. The thing that's interesting to me here is that, when I see a tetrahedron, I see 4 nodes. But what seems to be obvious with me is that more important than 4 nodes are 4 faces. Therefore, the triangle is a flat structural unit of measurement. So he's using the triangle as a unit of measurement, and he's using the structure because they cannot deform without stretching or compressing the edges. Triangles are only stable polygon. Triangles provide the structural strength for all of geodesics, which would include the tetrahedron.
But that's where,
May I say, when I look at a tetrahedron, I'm going to focus more on the faces of the tetrahedron than on the nodes of the tetrahedron. That's what I'm going to do.
I was just going to say that AI is messing up again there. A triangle cannot be a unit of measurement. Cannot.
Well,
Of measurement of what? A triangle cannot measure energy. A triangle cannot measure information.
okay,
What will it be measuring?
there are sites here. The triangle provides a structural strength for all the things. Let me see, no volume, the triangle. This is from Buckminster Fuller Systems Thinking, and it's quoted basically from there. So I don't know. But I also, so I'm just putting that out there. Richard, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, now it's in the spirit of Bohemian dialogue
Sure.
and suspend judgment. And so Manu is quite definitive in terms of distinguishing between what he says is a system and a structure. But the language of what we just saw there and the language in the Synergetics dictionary is not that definitive. And so there may be another way of coming to this common understanding, because I think we do all have a common understanding, but sometimes words get in the way. And that's why, for me, the idea of a minimum system or a minimum structure can be a triangle. But when we're in the context of Fuller's holism and the idea of holism, you start with the holism and you go to the parts. You don't start with parts and go to the whole. And he's trying to get us to think differently. That's where what became comfortable for me to distinguish between that 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional is to be able to say a triangle is a minimum system or structure, and a minimum whole system or a minimum whole structure with that inside-outsideness is a tetrahedron. And just to follow on Steve's comments about preferring face over nodes, I think when we're working with the tetrahedron, we always have to work with all 3, the nodes, the face, and the edges. So that 4, 6, and 4 is an important sort of combination of numbers in a minimum whole system. So that's all I'm trying to get at. I'm working with a kind of a little bit different version of the word system and wholeness than what, say, Manu is doing. And so there's room for us to suspend judgment on each of our particular viewpoints and how we understand something like systems and minimum whole systems and structures. I'm complete. Thanks.
If I can just beg quick, sorry. I didn't say that. I didn't distinguish.
Hey, Manu,
Sorry.
we got a hand up here. There's been a hand up, so if you want to raise your hand, then we can
Oh,
rotate and take turn. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Steve, go on.
Brad?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Manu. There's no Bohemian dialogue to have with definitions. Definitions are. There's no discussion. They are given for a reason. And the reason is that this is a basis of everything else. We base our reasoning on definitions. There's no arguing with them once they are agreed. So if we're comparing system with structure, this is off topic. We are defining a system. We're not talking about structure. So a triangle is a structure. Maybe, who cares? We're talking about a system. And basically based on the definition given by Bucky, a system is 4. End of story. So I added the card preceding the one I gave earlier. Only systems define its insideness and outsideness. Therefore, 2 points or 3 points cannot by themselves define insideness and outsideness. Four balls are minimum to systems omnidirectional differentiations of insideness and outsideness. Structures
Cool.
may be some other things, but systems are 4.
Cool. Minimum.
Yes,
Cool.
at least based on those cards. There are other cards.
And my point, are you ready to lower your hand, Fred?
Yeah.
My point is that, yeah, Bohemian dialogue is still needed with definitions because I think I've improved my life by improving my definitions, by getting more and more explicit, more and more impeccable. And I think I've got a chapter in my book about how essential it is to know what words mean for one's own understanding of oneself. And that when one is in conversation with another, if there's conflict, to discuss the actual words and see if there can be a consensual agreement on the lexicon, on the dictionary, on the definitions, and then proceed. And in my book, I'm recommending that if I'm talking to somebody and they don't agree with me, that it's okay for me to keep my definition and not use that definition because I'm doing what I can to maintain the integrity of my universe. Now, should I doubt myself? Yes. Should I constantly question? Yes. Should I be open for further feedback? Yes. And I want to pick something that works for me right now to maximize the way I perceive and manifest myself in universe. So I just thought I'd say that about definitions. Here we go. And Manu has his hand up, so we'll go there next. Go ahead, Manu.
Okay. First, Steve, apply the rule fairly. Yeah? I have my hands up before you intervene.
I apologize, sir.
Okay. So I just wanted to say exactly what Fred said. A triangle cannot be defined as a system as per the definition of Bucky. Therefore, I take off my structure thing because a structure is a system, basically. I take it off and then we continue because we understand what Bucky said.
Okay, cool.
That's
Look
it.
what happens when we go back to definitions. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Manu. You complete? You can lower your hand.
Yes.
Richard, go ahead.
Well, it's again, what's interesting in terms of the word structure and system for me, as I saw the second card, it helps me come to a kind of, again, a bit of a difference between what I'm feeling now than what Manu was doing is that now I'm feeling that a triangle is a structure, and and it can be minimum 3, or it can be whatever. Well, a triangle is 3, and the system, without putting any qualifiers on it, is 4. And you can call it minimum 4, but it's 4. And so a triangle is a structure, and a tetrahedron, if you want, is a system. Or anything that's 4 in the different planar configurations is a system, and it's got to be 4. Yeah, so
Cool. Are you complete?
yeah, and it's to me, this is a manifestation of Bohemian dialogue, of listening to what somebody else is saying, reading the definition, and then kind of processing it in terms of where I've been working with it. And it's helped me clarify some thinking that I've had about a tetrahedron and systems and structures.
Wonderful. I'd say that's reaffirming to me, who decided unilaterally to read Appendix C tonight. And we've been on number 1 here for the last half an hour, so that's pretty exciting. Okay. Unless there's further comment, we'll continue with the reading.
We should look up the definition of definitions.
Yeah.
Good. You know what? I was amazed at the etymology of intention. I went back through intention. I'll tell you, looking at etymologies and where words come from and how they're used is the most mind-blowing, beautiful clarification of the universe to me. Okay, number 2. Go ahead.
One last thing. In Dianetics, the thing of the Scientology,
Yeah.
they define confusion as, I mean, the way to get out of confusion is to look the definition of one term. The prescribed way to remove confusion from a discussion or from a reflection is to look up the definition of one term. And what they say is that it's usually more than enough to clear up the confusion.
Right.
And which is why you do not argue with definitions. There may be times where you write down definitions, and then there's a discussion about what exactly the meaning of that term or not. But when you look up a term, you don't argue with it. You look it up and you take it as it is. When you look up the definition of a mathematical object, usually the definition, going back to the definition itself, clears up the understanding of the whole problem. That's I find myself going back more and more to definitions in math, in physics also. I used to gloss over that because, hey, come on, everybody knows what that is. But when you look at a definition in detail, it clears up so many things. It's so important. Okay, that's it. That's what I wanted to say.
Agreed. And my point on that is that if I get a definition and I start looking up words in the definitions, sometimes I find that the words are conflicting. And so that definition needs some clarity. And especially as I fine tune my awareness, more and more clarity is needed, and more strict definitions are required. It seems to me. I'm complete. Richard, Manu, your hand is up.
Yes. This was not to say that Bucky is the Bible. Everybody that tried to convey something is trying to convey a whole something. So to understand that, you need, in the process of reading or being acquainted to the thing, to go back to understanding what was the basic tenement of the argument or of the concept that the person wanted to present. What I mean is that I'm not going to go into another book where somebody says a system is this, that a triangle is something, and argue. What I will argue to understand is to go back to what Fred was saying, to see how does that component build into the wholeness that the author or whoever is making the proposition want to present. That was my point. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Manu. Kelly. whenever there was a discussion about the meaning of a word, the meaning of a term, the meaning of a concept, how to understand things, he always said, as I remember, that we're trying to understand Bucky Fuller as Bucky was thinking. We're trying to understand the thinking of Bucky Fuller. So maybe there are other considerations outside of Bucky Fuller, but what we're trying to do, and at that moment we were studying critical path, we tried to understand what Bucky meant. And so the definition from Bucky Fuller, the explanation, the concepts are from Bucky's thinking. There may be other consideration elsewhere, but that was not the purpose of the group at that time.
Cool.
Done.
Okay. Let's let's see if we can get through number 2. The regular tetrahedron fits inside the cube, with its edges providing the diagonals across the cube's 6 faces, and thereby supplying the 6 supporting struts needed to stabilize the otherwise unstable cube. Furthermore, 2 intersecting regular tetrahedra outline all 8 vertices of the cube. Now, this is profound to me because normally I think like in contracting, you put a diagonal on all 4 walls. And so you've just got these 4 diagonals on these walls in order to make sure they don't fall over. And the idea of a tetrahedron being sufficient to stabilize a cube is exciting to me.
Yes, the way you understand that, Steve, it's very simple. You get a cube, you imagine the center point of a cube, and you're projecting to the faces of a cube.
Okay.
Or again, on another way to understand it very clear, you take a cube, you take the midpoints, and you join the midpoints. If I take a cube, or am I saying something that is rubbish here? And I take the midpoints of a cube. No, my idea is not very good. Just continue, please. I've taken enough. I said it prematurely.
Well, I'm going to show you some pictures based on
Yeah.
what you just said. I'll share some pictures. There we go. So there's the tetrahedron in a cube.
Cannot see yet.
You can't see it?
Exact, yes.
Yeah, that's
Exact.
the guy right there.
Okay. So what I meant was, and actually, yes. Therefore, you can take it. If you take it diagonally, the diagonal triangle of a cube, and then the other face of projection, the point of projection as opposite the triangle, then the triangle of a diagonal, then you have a tetrahedron.
Yeah. And so what comes to me is I see a house as a cube, but a house isn't constructed as a cube. It's constructed as 4 side walls. And so, and still the tetrahedron does it. Instead of going top to bottom, left to right, all the way down, going crisscross sounds cool. Any other comments, thoughts, or questions? Okay. Well, let's go back over to our next thing, which I think we're all going to agree on here. The tetrahedron is unique in being its own dual. That blew me away when I first realized that. That was wonderful. Any thoughts or comments on that?
Yes. It is its own dual because you do a derivative of a tetrahedron is a tetrahedron.
Yeah.
What I call a derivative of a tetrahedron, you take the midpoints of all sides,
Right.
and you mix and you join them together it is a tetrahedron.
Is there any other polyhedron that is its own dual?
No.
No,
Yeah.
but there's e to the power x. Exponential function is its own dual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Next one. The 6 edges of the regular tetrahedron are parallel to the 6 intersecting vectors that define the vector equilibrium. The 6 edges of the regular tetrahedron are parallel to the 6 intersecting vectors that define a vector equilibrium. Boy, I would like to see a graphic on that puppy. And let's see if we can get anything there.
There's plenty of vector equilibrium graphics in earlier
Yeah.
pages of the book.
Here's I would like to see something that's specific to the fact that the 6 edges of the tetrahedron.
I don't know if you can see it here. It's there.
Yeah, what we need to be doing is seeing more of these guys.
Do you see
But that's fun.
do you see a triangle of David, the Star of David there?
The
In
what
yellow?
one? Oh yeah, you're talking about your thing? Cool.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. These are the edges of the vector equilibrium. Eh? These are the axes of vector equilibrium. Yeah. The 12. Do we agree to that? Yeah. 4, 4, 4. 4 horizontally, the 4 yellow, the 4 on top here, and the 4 at the bottom. You see that?
Yeah.
Here. This is the vector equilibrium. And if you have the vector equilibrium there, you see that all the tetrahedra here, I'm outlining one here. Do you see them? All the tetrahedron around that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's all parallel to this.
Okay.
And this you can build it to infinitum. You remember that, huh?
Okay.
The cube octahedron. You can.
Good. Any other comments or questions?
All right.
All righty. Next point. Similarly, the 4 faces of the regular tetrahedron are the same 4 planes of symmetry inherent in vector equilibrium and in cubic close packing of spheres. The tetrahedron is thus at the root of an omnisymmetrical space-filling vector matrix or isotropic vector matrix. Comments?
Again, is good illustrating. If you look at this, I was trying to study the colors here. You have a Star of David. You see the 3 axes of symmetry, the 3 great circles. You see the yellow here, the blue, and the red.
Okay.
Again, it defines that property that you're talking about.
The 4 faces of a regular tetrahedron are the same 4 planes of symmetry inherent in the vector equilibrium and in cubic close packing of spheres. The tetrahedron is thus at the root of an omnisymmetrical space-filling vector matrix or isotropic vector matrix. All right, 6. When the volume of a tetrahedron is specified in 1 unit, other ordered polyhedra are found to have precise whole number volume ratios as opposed to the cumbersome and often irrational quantities generated by employing the cube as the unit of volume. Therefore, the tetrahedron has the most surface area per unit of volume. Furthermore, the tetrahedron has the most surface area per volume per unit of volume.
To be precise, the tetrahedron has the most surface area per unit of volume of the other platonic solids.
Yeah, it means that the tetrahedron is the most concentrated. Is the most concentrated of all.
Yeah.
That's why it's four
but
bonded.
the most amongst the other platonic solids.
But it's the general rule of a polyhedron, huh? The polyhedra.
Okay.
But do you understand well how we get into this at number 6? You remember what we did? The imply octahedron, and then we could divide again into 3. That defined everything up to it defined Bucky's how do you call it? The where it transits from the vector equilibrium to the tetrahedron.
Yes.
What is that artifact? Yes.
Yes. Good
So
point.
yes,
Thank you for
yes,
that.
yes. And it's just two. That's why I always say, from an engineering point of view, is enough 2 derivations. So if you do the first derivation, you have the implied octahedron and the 4 tetrahedron. You cut again with the 3 planes, and then you have a vector equilibrium basically. So in order to construct wholeness, that is enough. But if you want to go further into the refine of the content of that, then you go to higher dimensions. Then you can go. And there is one thing that is shown very clearly, is what you call the volume of a unit ball as a function of dimension. If you chart that, the volume will go up to dimension 5. Between dimension 5 and dimension 6, it plateaus. And then it starts going down. You start losing efficiency. So to me, my interpretation is that as you are going up, you have economies of scale. Economies of scale, that is the energy that you have per unit of per unit sphere, so per unit of account. And then you reach a certain level of complication, then you put energy and your output starts fizzling. That's my physical interpretation of it. So from a utilitarian point of view, I will go to, when I do my tessellation on my space, I will stop where I start having irregular triangles, irregular tetrahedra. That is those that are isosceles. Isosceles. I'll stop there. It's not worth anymore putting effort, because you put effort, you are just going to yield something that is not worth. That is not worth the effort that you put.
Okay.
I will click your share out. I could not resist because the previous card about systems says systems are individually conceptual polyhedral integrities. I thought that was appropriate. Okay.
Yeah. All righty. Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether this particular point addresses um, the learning process that most of us have been put through in mathematics, that has to do with squaring and triangling, and Fuller talked about um, man developed the idea of the square timetables, and nature works in the triangle tables, and both of them come up with the same answer, but man came up with an answer that's more takes up more area, takes up more lines or space than triangling. But if you one square, you get one. If you two square, you get four. Three square is nine. And if you do the same with triangles, you get the same answer. One triangle is one, two triangles is triangling is four, and so forth. But it seems that we often just gloss over the the real significance between squaring and triangling, which may well be because I've always had difficulty trying to understand it from this volume perspective, but it's becoming more and more clear in terms of if you start with the tetrahedron as the volume unit of one, then all the ratios are in whole numbers as opposed to if you start with the squaring or the cube as the unit of volume one. Is am I understanding that correctly? And I'm just intrigued as to why we in our educational systems stay rooted to the square system and not the triangle system, and not transforming to the triangle system.
Because we are creatures of repetition. And then the more we repeat,
Yeah,
the more we
but
loop, the more we have what we call skin in the game. And it's difficult to extract ourselves, even when it's obvious
It's the
that
same reason why Canada and the rest of the world doesn't switch over to the US measuring system, use inches and feet like normal people should, instead of meters. I was being sarcastic, Richard. You know,
but
well,
it's true.
we
no,
announced in the US when I remember being in school and announcing we were switching to the metric system in 5 years. And so all the kids in school were getting hipped up on this metric system in 5 years. It never happened.
did in Canada.
Didn't in the US.
No. Well, anyway, that to me, that's the other thing that's kind of interesting, using the Dymaxion map and deciding who's at the center of the Earth.
Yeah.
And so it's logical that somebody in the United States would say that we're the norm, and those of you that have gone to the metric system are the abnormals. Whereas somebody in Europe, let's say, would say we're the center of the universe, and you guys in the U.S. Are deviants. And
Yeah, we can't switch to the metric system because I'd have to throw all the rulers out of my house.
yeah, right.
Okay,
Well,
good.
you wouldn't do that, because in our house we had to keep the rulers because I'm still thinking in feet or in feet and
Oh dear.
inches.
Oh dear. And then there's those damn nuts and bolts that the US
Yeah.
system. Oh my gosh. Okay, good. We've only got a few more minutes, so let's get through a couple of these at a time. And let's see just how we can progress here in rapid fashion. So I'm going to read 3 of them, then let's pick the one that you want to pick on the most. Of all polyhedra, the tetrahedron has the greatest resistance to an applied load. It is the only system that cannot dimple reacting to external force. Tetrahedron must either remain unchanged, a tetrahedron must remain unchanged, or turn completely inside out. Interesting. I said I was going to read 3. The surface angles of a tetrahedron add up to 720 degrees, which is the angular takeout inherent in all closed systems. And my third choice, the next element, the tetrahedron is the starting point or whole system in Fuller's cosmic hierarchy, and as such contains the axes of symmetry that characterize all polyhedra of isotropic vector matrix or face-centered cubic symmetry in crystallography. Okay. Anybody want to talk about any one of those? One of those guys?
We've seen all of those. I don't know if it's worth talking about it.
Well, this is interest to me. The angular takeout inherent in all closed systems. What the heck does that mean? What's an angular takeout?
Do you see the association between volume and angle?
Do I see what between volume and what?
Angle.
Okay.
So a closed system, that is when you loop, has whatever turn, the sum of a turn in the most efficient way must make 720 degrees.
Will be the angular takeout. So I'm just going to have to look up what angular takeout means. I've never heard of an angular takeout, so that's pretty cool. Any other
What I
comments?
mean is this, Steve. If I'm going from point A to B here, and then, or if I'm here, let's just say I want to define something that is close. And whatever itinerary that I take, I can even reverse, plus, minus, turning. For me to come back to this point, I must efficiently and exactly. When I say efficiently, it means that there's no overlap, there's no waste. Define 720 degrees, all my turns. That's also, according to me, the definition of what you call dimension. I define the dimension. Okay, let not me, I like to get lost into something. But here, what I'm saying is that if I take this bottle and I go from this point, coming back from this point, whatever zigzag that I take here in terms of angles, and adding and subtracting, coming back to here, must make 720 degrees in the most efficient way. And that is the angular definition of a tetrahedron. All the inside angles, meaning that all the curvatures, inside angles, describe concavity. All the inside angles of a tetrahedron must add up to 720 degrees. So he does it in the most efficient way in 6 turns. 6 turns of 60 degrees. But since 2 must be deducted because of the pole, because of holding it in place, you have the 4 dimensions. 2 turns are suppressed by holding like this. Is a counterintuitive concept, but is the link between dimensionality, curvature, angularity, and the polyhedron.
Okay.
I'm true.
Alrighty, cool. No other hands or comments, so here we go. We're going to finish this off. Did you have your hand up, Richard?
Yeah, I was just looking at that third one you read.
Okay. I think I read number 9 was the third one.
Yeah, number 9. Again, it's interesting use of words because the tetrahedron is the starting point or whole system. And our earlier discussion around systems and structures, the tetrahedron was described as a system. And so it's interesting how we go back and forth in treating system as minimum 4, and then looking at the tetrahedron with minimum 4, but we describe it not as a system, but as a whole system. So to me, that speaks to some of the, I don't know if it's confusion, but it's the different ways in which we use system as a independent sort of concept, and the way we use holism as a way to describe minimum systems or minimum whole systems. So I think that speaks to some of the confusion that people get into when we start to talk about definition of a system or definition of a minimal system or the definition of a structure um, or minimum structure as in a triangle.
Cool. Complete?
Yeah.
All right. Here's our last three, folks. Well, I'm going to read all three if that's okay. Packing spheres
Yes.
together requires a minimum of 4 balls to produce a stable arrangement, automatically forming a regular tetrahedron. The centers of the four spheres define the tetrahedron's vertices. In fuller words, 4 balls lock. Number 10. It has been demonstrated that many unstable polyhedra can be folded into tetrahedra, as is the jitterbug transformation. And number 4, Fuller refers to the 6 edges of a tetrahedron as
Oops, gone silent.
Steve is frozen. Okay. Can we read?
Please go
Yeah.
ahead, Manu.
Okay, well, hang on. I'm slowly coming around. There we go. Do you see me now?
Yes.
We
Okay,
just
good.
did-
We've completed Appendix C. The goal has been completed. We've been very Socratic about it, not very
I
Bowmanian.
I think you froze. We did not hear the last few
Okay.
definitions.
What I said
You need to
was,
share. Please share again, and
Yeah,
let's go
what I-
through it again.
what I was saying is we've just completed Appendix C.
Yeah,
which is
but we
very
did not hear
Socratic.
you. You froze. You froze. We did not hear the last definitions.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. Then thank you for being clear.
This book is reluctantly getting to an end.
We're doing half, even 3/4 every session of the remaining.
It's cursed.
Okay, there we go. The last one. Fuller refers to the 6 edges of a tetrahedron as one quantum of structure because the number of edges in regular, semi-regular, and high-frequency geodesic polyhedra is always a multiple of 6. That's the last definition, Fred.
Okay, thank you.
So we've made our 12 points and survived with a few things of enlightenment, and the book is completed. And then next week we'll have a PDF file of Looking Glass, and we'll go from there. Anne, I don't want to pick on you. You've been busy today, and you've checked in and out, but you've been here for a while. How do you feel, and what are your takeaways tonight, this morning? And do you have a shape? Oh, can't hear you because you're on mute.
You're muted, Anne.
Can the rest of you go first so that I can hear your takeaways as well?
Oh, okay, good. Fred,
Thank
go
you.
ahead and start out. I love that. Thank you, Ed. Fred, how are you feeling? What are your takeaways?
Thank you,
and
Ed.
do you have shape tonight?
My takeaway is that I would like to share that I got rid of all AI in my search results by adding as a search engine UDM equal 14. I put that into the chat at some moment. And when you do that, you get the old-fashioned Google with nearly no ads, no comments, just your pure unadulterated search with no AI and no bullshit that goes around it. You put your keywords, you get the old-fashioned search, and I love it. I love it. If I want AI, I will go to AI. I don't want my search to be AI polluted. That's my takeaway.
Wonderful.
Richard, how are you feeling? What's your shape, and what is your takeaway for today?
My shape really is a holistic shape. And also in the spirit of the holism and the experience I had with this particular flexible model of a tetrahedron in a conference in front of about 60 people and have someone, for whatever reasons, when I turned it around to everybody and said, tell me what you see or feel, or does it communicate to you? And people ignored it or said, doesn't say anything, or some felt some kind of communication. And this one person in front of the entire group, which were all of his colleagues in the field, along with myself, he says, I hate this model, and proceeded to put it on the floor and stomp on it. And the whole crowd was absolutely stunned that somebody would be that kind of critical of a guest speaker. And I think he was surprised himself. And when he took his foot off of the tetrahedron, it bounced back up into a full shape. And so no harm done, but I'll tell you, it was a big shock, I think, to the person that offered the criticism, and then saw that the resilience, if you want, of what he was criticizing bounced back and was able to carry on in its own wholeness. The other thing is just out of that last definition, and that everything is a kind of a derivative of 6, brought me back to that formula of either n times n minus 1 or n squared minus n squared times n over 2. In a tetrahedron sense, you get your minimum 6 edges. And then when you use the same formula, if you go to 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, you'll get a minimum number of edges. I never thought of it in terms of they're all connected to the original 6. So I'm going to look at that a little bit more, and I appreciate that sort of learning out of our final reading session. Lee, how are you feeling, and what's your takeaway?
I lost my ear. Hold on. Richard, I love that. I love that story. As many times as you have told it, I love that story of how a tetrahedron can just doing come back to life. And I like that. And I'd sure like to meet the guy who squished it. Find out what his thought is now after learning about how resilient it can be. I'm excited to find out which book we're going to be reading. I'm a little apprehensive because of my lack of knowledge of all what you all know. I was dumbfounded with Manu's statements. Again, I'd heard it before, but I got dumbfounded and not confused, but dumbfounded at everybody's information on what was being said. I just hope I can start learning and knowing the definitions. I love that. I love that statement about definitions. Definitions are important. And if I had probably learned that at the beginning of when I came in, definitions, if I had learned them and used them, I would have more of a clear mind. I'm excited, though. I am real excited to finding out the 2 books. I'm excited about the 2 books that we're going to be reading. And I will be with you guys wholeheartedly. And how are you? And what is your takeaway?
Let's do Manu first.
Oh, Manu? Yes. Yes. Manu, what are your takeaways from all that has been said tonight?
Thank Lee. I'm very excited because actually I've constructed a tetrahedron. Just bear with me. The first point, the first vertex of a tetrahedron is that we have solved a problem. We have finished the book, and we determine which book we're going to read. So those are 2. The second is that I've learned something very important here, is that in terms of education, I think one thing that is sometimes overlooked is that we should teach our children, we should expose our children to pottery, sculpting, and tiling. Pottery for wholeness, form things. Sculpture for dividing to make a whole, anti-entropically build again. And then tiling for tessellation. And then the 4 vectors that I got is a tale of 3. And the tale of a surgeon, the engineer, and the economist. And it goes like this. A surgeon, an engineer, and an economist died. They lived their life and died. And they want to get to heaven. And then there's St. Peter's at the gate of heaven. And they knock at the door, and St. Peter say, hey. He opened the door and say, but there's no space here for anybody. They thought about it. And then St. Peter say, okay, I'm going to give you a query. And that query is that the person who's done the most useful and the most important job in your life is going to be admitted to that last place that is left in the universe. So then the surgeon came forth and said, look, Eve was created of the rib of Adam. And to do that, there's a need for surgery. So life is from surgery. And St. Peter looked at him and said, that is potent. Good, you are going to go. And the engineer said, wait a minute. That's not right. Before Eve was made, there was Adam. He's a whole. He was built. Therefore, I did an important job. And St. Peter thought again and said, you have a point. You have a slight edge over the... So I put order. You have slight edge over the surgeon. And then the economist comes and say, look, guys, you put order, you did surgery. But who created that disorder in the first place? It's me. And St. Peter was obliged to take the economists and put on earth to cause more disorder. So there is my tetrahedron of tales of things that we've done. And that's what I take away from today. There's the last one, I wouldn't tell you that's the oil engineer. But I will tell that is in store for next game. So that's what I take away. Anne,
I'm
how
going
do
to
you
go
feel?
next, and then that way Anne can get a summary from the summary. Hey, listen, I'm really grateful that we picked a book. I'm so grateful for all of your patience on me conducting through these times and then presenting over the last couple of weeks. I always look at myself and say, gee, there could have been a better idea. There might have been a better way to do this, but I'm really delighted that we stuck to it. You guys were patient with me, and we were able to get our books chosen, and life will proceed. And I'm really excited. So thank you all for your patience and it with me. And I'm open for suggestions anytime. My shape tonight would have to be a tetrahedron. It would be a violation of sanctity if I said anything else after reading 10, 12 things about a tetrahedron, how its portion is supposed to be. But I learned something in the process. I learned how easy it is to forget a definition. I also learned I'm going to look about this angular takeout. I'm going to figure out what that's about because that just seems like something for me to do. So I'm looking forward to Fred being a major player this next week. He's going to send us all living energies and going to send me programming, and then I will follow through and make sure that by next Saturday we all have a programming book that fits the hard copy that I have, and we'll go from there. So I'm real grateful, very humble, very grateful for tonight. We actually progressed and finished off the book. I'm so glad we got a Denim C. And Fred, why don't you make a comment before Anne does her takeaways?
Are you done
I'm
with your takeaway? Oh, and still got to go. I wanted to ask about Wednesday code. Do you want me to do my presentation this week?
The Wednesday deal is like it's up to Wayne. I'll tell you what I'll do is you want to email Wayne or I'll text Wayne. Wayne is kind of conducting.
You're the boss, so you ask Wayne or you don't ask Wayne.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to text Wayne and I'm going to say, hey, Fred's ready for his presentation this week. What do you think? And we'll go from there. And we'll get
The
an
presentation is about what is CRM. So we're going to talk about definitions and we're going to talk about CRM.
definitions of
And
what?
a
Theorem.
CRM,
Theorem,
something.
theorem. Yeah.
Theorem. You've got definitions which are given, and you've got theorems which are derived from definitions, which are truths. To remove
Theorems.
we're going
Okay.
theorem. Yes, we're going to remove the wiggle room. I know you guys like some wiggle room. We're
Remove
going to remove that.
wiggle room. Okay, good. And then I was actually supposed to present after that. Maybe I can be ready the next week. Now I'm done with my pro bono project. I'm very thrilled about that. Remove wiggle room. Okay, good. I'm going to make that comment to Wade, and I'll text you what I do, and we're complete there. Thank you, Fred.
I think where I take we decide to be truthful. So this I'm gonna ask. We decided that here that we are going to come on Wednesday with the proposition carried by these 5 that Fred presents and then you present. After that, and then we go on with the book.
So good. That means we have 2 potential bosses, Wayne and you. So that'll be good. Okay.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm a taker. I'm just saying that we've
Okay.
discussed here. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here.
I hear you.
Out of a group of 6. I mean,
we should prepare a coup.
Yeah,
We should prepare a coup. And
No,
I vote for Manu.
We're going to stick with Richard's idea here, and we're going to go for the Bohemian idea as much as possible because it reminds me of Star Trek and Captain Picard and how everybody on the ship is important. So we'll go from
Is
there.
there such thing as a Bohemian coup?
Richard, will
yeah,
you research that for next week?
yeah.
Determine if there's such
There
thing as a
is-
Bohemian coup.
Yeah.
Bohemian coup.
The Bohemian coup, hold on. The Bohemian coup consists on there is a planned discussion and then a subgroup of a group that is going to meet to learn first, do their homework.
Yeah.
They are going to carry the day because they are going to be better prepared.
Thank you,
And they
Manu.
are going to be able to convince the others.
Thank you, Manu. In spite of all the chaos, Anne,
Yeah.
what's your shape? How are you feeling? And what are your takeaways today?
Oh.
Whoop, you're muted. There we go. Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah. First, I have to say thank you, Fred, for making the PDF available to us. Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to it. And then, Steve, I just want to say this. I think it's not you thanking us for being patient. I think you also have to, we have to thank you for being patient with us as well for all our Bohemian, the dialogue that we had. So that was really, really important. Thank you very much. Yeah. And this one is actually for Lee. Lee, I just want you to know I'm a language person. Yeah, you have no idea how far to the left or right, depending where science is. I'm all the way on the other opposite side. So when you talk about definitions, mine is like open to interpretation. It's up to anybody to define it the way they feel like. So to come to science where the definition is so precise, it's completely. But you see, because I was very exposed to this Bucky thoughts, even at the introductory level, because of Blair Singer and Robert Kiyosaki, and also Kelly Ritchie. And Kelly Ritchie was the one that was most influential on and impactful to me on this Bucky. Yeah, and when he asked me to join in, but bear in mind, I'm 5 years in, since I started joining the group, it's been 5 years, literally. Yeah. So I was like you, exactly, not knowing anything and don't know what the heck all these guys are talking about. I'm like, that sounds like a different, it's English, but not English. Yeah. Just so yeah, just hang in there, Lee. That's for you. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. And then the last bit is I'm in the shape of inside outside. Yeah, because it's a system, and having I was in and out as you could see. So the whole thing about a system is actually the space I'm in right now for where we are. Even my organization, for us to grow, my system has to be precise. Yeah, because otherwise it will not be smooth trying to take it and make it bigger than what it is already. Yeah, so that's the key thing. So I'm in that shape. So that would be my biggest takeaway today. Yeah, and so it's like a drumming in that I really, really make sure my systems are in place. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Fred wants to say something, is it?
Thank you. I put the definition of when a Bohemian coup happens in the
Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, I'm
Um,
done.
Thank you for discretion on your language, Fred. I appreciate that very much.
That's an
And, and
I think Wayne will agree with that definition.
and Anne, I found something about, we'd been talking about tensegrity and different things, and I found a thing on syntegrity, and it's evidently a trademark term, but somebody has developed a method for working in large organizations using a 30 group, using a icosahedron as the model instead of a tetrahedron. I'll send that to everybody, but you can look at that too, because it's a way to maximize democratic participation in an organizing function. I'll do a little bit more research on it, and I'll send that out to everybody as part of this thing. Okay, look for it. It's called
Thank you.
Syntegrity teamwork, Syntegrity teams, or something like that. Okay, all.
Thank you.
Again, seeing each other.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
all right.